It is a beautiful Tuesday night in Lodo. The Rockies 1-0 on this 7-game homestand. 2 more with the Pirates, and then the LA Dodgers come to town. The Rockies now 8 games north of 500, second fastest to 60 wins in their history. And it's good to see that man walking out to the mound once again. Chad Bettis making his first start since the 1st of July. It'll be a nice Tuesday night crowd as we take a look at the Southwest lineup that he will face from Clint Hurdle. Corey Dickerson, who had one of the 2 hits last night for Pittsburgh, will lead things off. He comes in at .314, one of the leaders in the National League in batting average. Starling Marte has always swung the bat well at Coors Field. He'll be followed by the right fielder Gregory Polanco. David Freese is over at first base today. Colin Moran will be batting 5th. He'll be at third base. Francisco Cervelli, Josh Harrison, Jordy Mercer, and Jamison Taillon. And Chad Bettis, it really will be interesting as he makes his 18th start to see how he works with that fastball, because it may seem subtle to the casual observer of baseball, but moving that finger off the seam, you wonder if he can get the same spin rate, and he's not a high spin rate guy to begin with. You wonder if he gets the same velocity.
Exactly, and that's the things we'll look early on here, but he made 3 rehab starts. In the first one, he threw 70 pitches and 74 the next one. As you mentioned a moment ago, Drew, 95 in his last outing. So we'll keep an eye on the velocity. He has been averaging right at 90 miles an hour. Now, a couple starts before he went on the DL with the blister, though, we saw some velocities up to 93, 94 occasionally. So he was able to do that. I don't think it'll affect the changeup, the slider, and the curveball. It was really just the 4-seam fastball that caused the blister.
Now, there are a number of players dealing with blisters this year. It's not something that hasn't happened in the past. Of course it has, but you know, some pitchers claim, and nobody handles a baseball more than a pitcher, that the seams are a little bit higher than they've been.
I grab a baseball every day when I come here. They do feel higher. I would totally agree with what those guys are saying, but you're right, those guys grabbing it every single day, they're always messing with their grip.
Yeah. First pitch of the ball game, high and away on Corey Dickerson. Dickerson had a single leading off against Kyle Freeland yesterday. Kyle gave up 1 more hit, and that, strangely enough, was a double to Joe Musgrove.
Yeah, and the pitcher.
Perfect night, man. It's 81 degrees. Almost forgot yesterday we had a 32-minute rain delay. Heavens open for a little bit. Curveball, and that misses.
Still, even with that 32-minute rain delay, the game time, or the game,
barely over 3 hours.
Yeah, combined, but it was 2:33 without the rain delay.
Now, Bettis, one of those guys who works really quickly, and when he's working right, he gets a lot of that. A lot of ground balls. 1 out as Dickerson bounced to DJ LeMahieu. That'll bring up Starling Marte. Here's the Rockies defensively. David Dahl back in the lineup. Swung it well yesterday. Played center for Charlie last night. You may recall Charlie got a day off, but he's back in there. So Dahl is in left. And Ian Desmond's going to get a day or so off. The legs are pretty sore. I mean, he's been going every single day. And at first base tonight, as you saw, is Ryan McMahon. Marte hits this a ton to center field. Charlie going back, and this one is gone. Marte got a high fastball. He did not miss it. That is his 17th career home run. And the average goes up a little bit at Coors Field. In 16 games, he has hit above .470.
Well, and he last night snapped a hitting streak at Coors Field. He went 0-4 last night. Wanted the ball down and away, and it did not get there. It ended up being belt high center cut. Marte takes it out over that extra wall there in center field on the Subaru Supermo. Not much hand movement going back on that swing. It was pretty static. Yeah, 453 feet on that home run.
There's not much of a load there at all, was there?
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty static, and then he just goes after it.
Well, when you watch Marte and Polanco take batting practice, these are big, strong guys. This ball's in the air to Dahl in left, and that will retire Polanco.
Another look at the home run on our StatCast AI, which is powered by AWS. Mentioned the distance a moment ago, the launch angle. Exit velocity, I'll round it up for you, 106 miles an hour off the bat.
That was a bomb. 2 outs. David Freese will step up. And that is in the strike zone. 0-1 on Freese. Chad's got to keep you off balance with an array of pitches. He has a terrific changeup. And that was a changeup right there. It's 0-2.
Chad, like 4/5 of the other starters for the Rockies, a little bit of trouble, a little rocky first inning for him. He's 17 starts. He's allowed now 21 earned runs in the first inning.
He was just one of those years.
Well, you know what it is. It is. Everybody but Kyle Freeland.
Yeah. And Kyle just doesn't give up runs. Story throws out Freese. Starling Marte, a home run to center field. A solo shot, 1-0 Pittsburgh. Gonzalez will be the first 3. In fact, let's take a look at the Southwest batting order tonight for the Rockies. Again, Cargo in that 3 spot, as I mentioned. Then Nolan will follow. Trevor Story will bat 5th. David Dahl in the 6th spot. Ryan McMahon, Chris Iannetta, and Chad Bettis. Facing Jameson Taillon, very talented right-hander for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who has never started at 20th and Blake before.
The last time that he faced the Rockies was last year. Beat Kyle Freeland at PNC Park. Big guy, 6'5", 230 pounds, a little bit like what we saw from Joe Musgrove last night. Fastball will cut it in, not afraid to pitch inside either to lefties or righties. Some sinking action on the baseball, but it's his slider that is, he threw a lot of it last start.
He threw 30% sliders in his last start against the Cubs. Didn't throw as many curveballs as he normally does. 2-1 as that pitch is in there. He'll run that fastball 96, 97 miles an hour. This cat, if you remember, I know you do, Jeff, back in 2010 was the 2nd pick in the entire draft.
Yeah, Bryce Harper was #1 that year. How about the top 3 in that draft? Pretty good. Mentioned Bryce Harper, Jameson, and then Manny Machado was 3rd, and then after that it kind of gets a little iffy.
Gets a little sketchy
Kansas
after
City
that.
wants to redo.
Charlie grounds out the 2nd. LeMahieu coming up. Here's the alignment defensively. Colin Moran getting the start at 3rd base. He came in that trade for Garrett Cole from Houston. And Francisco Cervelli, who got just the 2nd start of the year at 1st base yesterday, is back in his more natural position behind the dish. DJ, like Charlie, a patient hitter, takes strike 1. Taillon beat the Rockies last June. through 5 shutout innings. That was in Pittsburgh. And Kyle Freeland actually started for the Rockies that day. Man, oh man, what a gem thrown yesterday again by Kyle. 7 shutout innings. He allows 2 hits. Jenny and Corey spent a good deal of time, as they should, talking about his performance in the pregame show. And if you missed any of that, he now has a 2.18 ERA at Coors Field. Come on.
I know, right?
And the Rockies
number though.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the number for Kyle since April 24th, a 257 overall.
Here's the deal. If Kyle Freeland had those numbers in San Francisco or in LA or San Diego, real pitchers parks, you'd still be running him out there going, look at this. This is remarkable. And yet he's doing it at Coors Field. 2-2. This is bounced over the mound, and it's picked up by the shortstop Jordy Mercer. 2 outs.
Time now for the win, which is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. So let's channel the Blake Street Bombers, would we? Since July 20th, the Rockies have not scored more than 7 runs since then. They beat Arizona in that game 11-10. And really think about July and all the great numbers in July. They only scored double digits 3 times during the month of July. And if you remember, one of those games was that game they scored 19 runs. The reason we kind of tie it in with the Blake Street Bombers, Dante Bichette.
Sure. Cargo takes a pitch off the plate. Yeah, the Rockies need a breakout ball game offensively.
This is going to be tough. I mean, the 3 guys that Pittsburgh's
legit.
running out there last night, Musgrove, Tayo, and then tomorrow, Chris Archer. I mean, those are 3 legit front end of the rotation kind of guys.
It's inside. Good take by Cargo. 2-1. Pirates during the lean years, it seemed like they were picking in the top 4 or 5 every year. This is in the air to shallow left. Dickerson coming, and he'll get there and make the catch. 1-2-3 for Tyone in the first inning. 1-0 on the Marte home run.
The second all season long. We're celebrating the top 25 greatest Rockies of all time, and tonight it's all about number 8 on our list, Dante Bichette. Ryan already joining in on the conversation, saying Dante Bichette was my idol growing up. I remember so many things about that man, but in particular when he signed a ball for me, he was awestruck. The kid said when he was meeting his idol, he says it's one of his favorite autographs that he has. Don't forget to also tweet us. You can send us your thoughts, your memories at AT Sportsnet RM using the hashtag ToyotaTalk25. How about that one, Dr. Goodman?
Thank you, and I appreciate that reference with my medical background, so thank you. Dante had a lot of big hits, too.
He was a doctor of hitting, is what he was.
And that's a bullet that's slowed down by Bettis, and there's Mr. Story to clean things up. They call him a doctor of fielding.
Well, that one was more of just using the bare hand. Chad slowed it down. That was going to be hit right at Trevor, but when he slowed it down, the only option for Trev was to come in and barehand it. We saw him play last night where he barehanded the ball. And he gets Colin Moran on this one. He tries to get down the line thinking that that was going to be it.
So one out, and that'll bring up Cervelli. Fouled off. So I was teasing Cervelli around the batting cage today about his walk-up song.
Yeah.
This is rolled to third. He got a kick out of that. I mean, he's got to hear that all the time.
Oh, sure.
2 gone. That'll bring up Josh Harrison, the versatile one, product of the University of Cincinnati. They've had some sneaky good guys come out of there over the last decade. Josh Harrison, Ian Happ for the Bearcats.
Yeah, usually more known for their basketball program now.
Yeah, especially when Huggy Bear was there, Bob Huggins.
Who is it now? Mick Cronin? Is it?
I think that's right. Yep. Nice pull there.
Oh, I don't know where that came from.
Huey?
You know, sometimes you just pull one like a rabbit out of the hat.
In the winter, we just relegate you to hockey questions.
I know.
We don't usually solicit anything.
College basketball, I watched a little bit too.
There you go. That just missed. 2-0. Keep looking at those flaps, Huey, and I'm telling you, a year, 2 years from now, I used to say it was 5 years from now. I don't even think it's going to be that long. Everybody's going to wear it. Cargo striding in. He's got a good inning for Chad. Couple ground balls, pop out to right. The Rockies can get after Tyone in inning number 2, down a run. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores and by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Celebrating Dante Bichette tonight. We count down the top 25 Rockies of all times. Of all time. That's fouled off by Nolan Arenado. Nolan, Trevor Story, David Dahl here in the second frame to face Jamison Tyone. Tyon's now 26, drafted right out of high school. Houston area kid. Down the line, that's a fair ball, extra bases. Dickerson will throw it back in. It'll be a leadoff second inning double for Nolan. That gets the crowd excited.
Last night, Nolan was the one that started the party in the 5th inning after the Rockies couldn't solve Joe Musgrove. 24th double on the year for Nolan. Sneaks it inside the bag on the Subaru Supermo. The stride and the coil, the hands coming through. Rips it down the line and then trots into second easily.
Here comes the team leader in doubles right now. Trevor Story's got 29 as Nolan and Josh Harrison chatted up at second base. Well, this is where the Rockies offense has left a little something to be desired here the last couple of weeks. They've had some leadoff men at second base and not been able to get them around.
And sometimes not even be able to advance them to third.
Last 12 ball games, the Rockies are 16 for 93 with runners in scoring position, just a 172 mark. You're going to go through periods like that, but you know, Buddy, I know feels it's time to break out.
Well, so does Jeff Salazar, Dwayne Espy.
They absolutely feel that way
with each and every bat of these guys.
Inside. I didn't want to give people an understanding, kind of a feel for the day of a hitting coach, and really the night before. They start preparing the night before and that morning for the guy they will face, and they look at, you know, scores of video recently, and it's not just, okay, let's take a look at his last game, see how he pitched. They want to know how they pitched. That is line. The left's got to get down in front of Dickerson. It won't. And now there's one out. A hard out off the bat of Story, but just finish that thought. Jeff, it's even more than when you were playing in the big leagues, because they're going to look at, and for Jeff Houston, they're going to look at similar type of left-handed hitters. They're not going to go back in your day to give Jason Giambi comps, because you weren't the same kind of hitter as Giambi.
No.
And so they're looking at, okay, 0-2-1-2. Here's the percentage of time you're going to get slider. Here's the percentage of time you. It is so in depth. So when they get together with their hitters that afternoon, they have a ton of information for them. This is to short, and Dahl's out by a step. Now it's going to take a 2-out hit.
Well, and that's by not advancing the runner the first time. Now Trevor put a good swing on. He just wasn't able to advance it, but it's too many times, as you mentioned, Drew, it's been going to this. But I want to go back to that point for a moment ago, that now you break down not only like pitches, but a lot of times it's not just what happens on the first strike or the second strike. It could be that whole at bat where you're going back to the dugout, you're talking about it, but it's also teams. What teams are similar to the Rockies as far as their offense?
Curveball swung on and missed by McMahon.
I mean, because you don't want to match, they say, the last time, if you're looking at Jameson, last club he pitched against was San Diego. Different type of team.
Yep, absolutely. We had that conversation a little more than a week ago because we saw a strong contrast. This is fouled off, 2 strikes. Houston came in free swinging team, right? They make a lot of contact, free swinging team. Then Oakland rolls into town, take. Yeah, I mean, they work deep counts. Here's Clint.
Well, and one final point on the hitting coach too. They've got to know this stuff, say at noon that day, because when guys start to roll into the clubhouse, they want to know what's going on.
And guys roll in that early. This ball is towards center. It's got to get down. It will not. So the Rockies get a couple of lineouts, but they waste the leadoff double by Nolan. It remains 1-0. Go to the third.
We have to bring up the 95 season. He finished second in NL MVP voting, and it was arguably his best season. But what's crazy is he almost wasn't a Rocky that year. I'll let him tell you why.
In spring training, I was borderline not coming back. They signed Larry Walker, and they really didn't need me. So the contract that I signed was a last-minute thing. It was because of a phone call from Don Baylor, said, "I want you on this team." I said, hey, I got to, this is a guy who gave me an opportunity, and so I came back, and that first game for me was so much more emotional than just an opening game. To win it the way we won it with the walk-off homer in the 14th inning.
Now that season, the first year the Rockies played at Coors Field, and he was referencing the walk-off home run he had in the first ever game played here at 20th and Blake. So Rockies fans certainly glad that he ended up deciding to come back here to Colorado. Guys.
Yeah, it would have been a little different Blake Street Bombers if Dante did not come back. Of course, that 95 season was the highlight of his career. He had a lot of great years in a Rockies uniform, but a lot of folks, me included, who thought he should have been the MVP that year. Barry Larkin, who's a great player, Hall of Famer. The comparative stats, obviously Barry wasn't going to produce the kind of power numbers that Dante would. Barry played a more important defensive position, playing shortstop, and he was a great shortstop. He ran exceptionally well, the 51 bags.
Yeah, but look at the RBIs, 128 to 66. They obviously were different parts of the lineup and where they hit.
Yep.
But Dante, listen to some of these ranks as far as Rockies. He's 6th in games with over 1,000, 3rd in average at 316. He's 4th. He's got 1,278 hits, 201 home runs, which is 5th, and then 3rd with 826 RBIs.
He left his mark. Taillon has not left a mark on the baseball yet with the bat, because he's barely touching it, trying to advance Mercer, who led off with that single in the 5.5 hole. 1-0 on the Marte home run, Pittsburgh in front. That voting is pretty close in 95. 281 votes for Barry Larkin, 251 for Dante. And Greg Maddux, that was back when he was winning a Cy Young every year, he was 3rd. Strike 3. And Taillon fails to move the runner, so there's 1 out, first strikeout for Bettis, and that'll bring up Corey Dickerson.
Maddox that year was 19-2 at the 163, so you can see why he was in the voting.
Think about that. 19-2 and a 163.
Yeah.
Dougie, what did he win? 4 Cy Youngs in a row, something silly like that? Mad Dog.
Mad Dog. The Professor.
The Professor. Buddy had him, and Dickerson hits it in the air to right center field. Charlie's there, 2 outs. Buddy had him in San Diego.
Somebody named their collie Pup after Dante.
That was the last of his 4 straight Cy Youngs. He won in 92, he won in 93, won in 94, won in 95. Here's Marte, got a high fastball his first time up, but he didn't miss it. Hit it over the center field wall, well over the center field wall, went some 453 feet. Gets a pretty healthy cut there. What an interesting matchup tonight between Bettis and Taillon. Both have defeated testicular cancer, and both have dealt with blisters. One, obviously
strange, similar paths.
Yeah. Curveball is in there for a strike. Good pitch.
It was, and it caught the outside corner on the Subaru strike zone.
The average curveball in Major League Baseball is going to arrive around 77, 78 miles an hour. Chad dropped that in at 70. You put your hitting hat back on. It's like it's not getting here. It's not getting here, right?
Hurry, and then you just end up taking it.
Tried to bust him in at 92. That's a good sign. So with the new grip, there's still, some velocity there when he wants it.
Really, all it was is kind of just moving it a quarter to a quarter of an inch off that seam.
Inside, Mercer at first base, real conservative lead.
Yeah, I don't even look for Mercer to run 2 stolen bases on the year. He's not going to run into an out with the heart of the order coming up.
That's foul. Fortunately. May have missed it last night, folks. If you get the baseball package at home, I don't know if you stayed up that late. Arizona was down 2-0 to Philadelphia in the 9th inning, and they rallied to tie it, and they ended up winning it, unfortunately for Rockies fans, in the 14th. See a soft serve to left center. On the move and getting there is David Dahl. So another strong inning from Chad Bettis. Rockies down a run. Iannetta will lead it off when we come back. Rockies score 7 or more. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Taylor McGregor on a Tuesday night. The Rockies will have Chris Iannetta leading off against Jamison Tyone. That pitch is down. First RBI in about a month yesterday for Chris. He had a line drive sac fly in the 5th to produce the Rockies' 2nd run. And this is toward the hole and out through. Good sign. Chris is not a .214 hitter. That's the average he brought to the ballpark tonight.
Well, and I think too with Tom Murphy getting sent down today when Chad was activated, Chris will get probably 4 or 5 of the starts during the week. Tony will get a couple of the other ones. I think tomorrow the day game will be Tony's turn, but Chris knows he's going to have a little bit of a run now.
That snap to you, 0 for 19 for Chris. And again, he hadn't been playing but about every 3rd day. It's still his first hit though since July the 12th. Up and in. Chad takes it for ball 1. Trying to get the bunt down here.
Get it down towards first. You got David Freese playing first base today. David played 3rd last night.
Again, we started to tell the story about how much these two now share in common, and most notably, obviously, the defeat of the testicular cancer. That is fouled off. And Chad, when we were in Pittsburgh earlier this year, talked about his relationship with Jameson.
When I first got wind that he was going through his diagnosis and everything, I reached out to Clint Hurdle and was like, hey, is there a way I could get Tyon's number? Sure enough, you know, he got me the number. So I reached out to him, just kind of saw where he was at in the whole process of what was going on. Luckily, he only had to get it surgically removed, which was awesome. And then being able to come here after I had to go through my chemo and stuff, and being able to see him pitch, for me was unbelievable. It was a great experience, and to see what he was able to overcome, for me, it definitely gave me hope.
He has such a bright outlook. That's who he was before, Chad. And then recently he reached out to talk blisters. Well, on the third try, Chad gets down a perfect bunt to advance Ionetta to second. But think of the contrast in terms of importance,
right,
from a health standpoint.
Yeah,
you're
so
talking about cancer in one conversation. The next one you're talking about your pitching career. Trying to how do you get rid of these blisters, man?
The blisters are frustrating for these guys. I mean, after what they dealt with, but I think they're looking at it like, yeah, it's just a blister. Come
right,
on, dude. It's just a blister at the end of the day.
A little different perspective.
Yeah, a lot different perspective. Well done with Chad getting that sack done.
Yeah, Charlie looking to break out. 3 for his last 32 at the plate. That is not like Charlie Blackmon, which means not somebody, a whole bunch of somebodies are about to pay. Charlie bounced to Josh Harrison his first time up. A lot of times Charlie, the first couple times through, will take a strike. Saw he fired at that first pitch in his second at bat against Tyon.
And sometimes that tells you I'm gonna be a little bit more aggressive.
Two-strike count.
Usually when somebody goes into a slump, it starts from the feet. It starts from the base. You're not getting a good solid foundation. So if you don't do that, then your head might move a little bit, and you'll start to fall into your swing. I'm sure that's what Jeff Salazar and Dwayne have been working in the cage with Charlie, just making sure that when that foot comes down, you're still solid.
And then what happens? You start to overanalyze.
And then you start to guess a little bit more. And then you think, well, I'm gonna try to look for a first pitch fastball and I'll pull it. And then they throw you something off speed, you ground out. Then you're mumbling to yourself.
And Charlie swings through that pitch. So it's 2 outs in the third, and DJ will come up, try to pick up his buddy.
You want to take advantage of the final holiday suite special game on Labor Day, September 3rd. All 12 or more person suites are only $100 per ticket and includes food and beverage. The date is filling up fast, so call 303 Rockies today.
LeMahieu hit a ground ball to short his first time up. Ionetta at second. Rockies trailing 1-0. Second straight inning that they've had a runner in scoring position. In the second, they had the leadoff double down the third base line from Nolan. Story lined out to left after a Dahl ground out. McMahon lined out to center.
On the year, just a .210 average with runners in scoring position against Jameson.
And he's going to work himself out of this one also. Easy play in center field for Marte. So we move to the 4th inning. It remains 1-0 Bucks. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. We talked about the 95 season. Dante so close to being the MVP of the National League. How about 97? He threw out 219 hits, which is the Rockies' single season record. Todd Helton second on that list along with Matt Holliday. Holliday's 216 came in 2007. Charlie last year had 213 hits. There's the list. Another member of the Blake Street Bombers, Ellis Burks, 211 knocks back in '96. And you throw out 200 hits in a season. Special stuff. Gregory Polanco batting third. Takes strike one.
I'd like to be just a pitcher facing that group of guys.
Keep looking in the on-deck circle. You see,
Like,
no
oh
mas,
boy.
man.
Oh
When's it stop?
That's why so many guys got the Coors Field flu whenever, you know, their turn would come around to pitch here. Oh, I just don't feel good, Skip.
There was a lot of that going around. 2 strikes on Polanco. Bettis, we talk about spin rate periodically. Bettis has one of the lowest spin rates on his fastball, and that works for him. It's probably by design, because Chad wants ground balls. He has reinvented himself as a pitcher. We always go back when he was in the Cal League. He was a pitcher of the year in High A. He was 95 to 98.
Yeah, so the lower spin rate on the four-seam fastball will produce more ground balls. The higher spin rate produces more swings and misses.
Ball stays
on plane longer. So just a little fact of the spin rate that when you hear about it.
Justin Verlander has the highest spin rate on his four-seam fastball, and that's not a good walk. There's rarely a good walk, but when you're ahead 0-2 to the leadoff hitter, and then you miss on 4 straight, so now Polanco goes down to first. He runs well. And that's why some guys 95 is different from other guys 95. And when you hear managers and pitching coaches talk about late life, it's not just a made-up term. That's a line drive base hit, and David Freese is aboard. 2 Pirates reach with nobody out here in the 4th.
That's why I don't like that terminology that's thrown around, sometimes perceived velocity, because some guys you perceive it different in the box. You know, they might be the same miles per hour, but one guy's velocity just seems harder. So when they say perceived velocity as whatever, I don't like that terminology.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different when they stand in the box too.
Well, Chad looking for that ground ball right here with B.J. Surhoff's nephew at the plate, Colin Moran. Like B.J., he went to North Carolina. That's a strike.
B.J. was intense. I mean, he might have been the most intense guy I ever played with. And if he struck out or something, just don't be near him.
Look out.
Yeah, because there's shrapnel going everywhere.
This is probably not hit hard enough for 2. DJ makes the prudent decision. Freese got to second base before he could at least cut down one runner that would advance the scoring positions. That kind of worked as a sac bunt. And now it's second and third, 1 out with Cervelli coming up.
DJ so badly wanted to go to second base on that. But you can't take that risk. Not early in the game like this. You don't make it, or he beats it, and you don't get an out. Not good.
There's a strike on Cervelli. 1 strikeout so far for Bettis. Not a big strikeout guy. That was on Tyone trying to bunt. I bring it up because if you could get in that situation right here, that would be terrific.
Second. Nope.
Ball and a strike on Cervelli. Two and one. Francisco's always been a fiery guy, which works for the position he plays. More than 600 career games behind the dish.
He's been the instigator a couple times on just at least the bench is empty.
And that misses. 3-1. Chad may be thinking here, we talk about certain times you don't mind a walk. I think you're trying to load the bases, but if you do, you have a chance on a ground ball. And a lot of sinker ball guys, ground ball specialists, think this way. Get out of it with one pitch. Got Harrison on deck.
That's why they keep trying to come inside on the Subaru strike zone to Cervelli.
And Chad loses him. So now the bases are loaded with one out, and that'll bring up Harrison.
The only thing with Josh Harrison, he's at 360 with runners in scoring position, below 200 when nobody's on. But you're right, Drew. If he hits it, you got a chance to roll it up on the ground. Rockies are turning 111 double plays on the year.
And Josh is normally a guy who runs well, but he's dealt with some hamstring issues lately.
Grounded into 7 on the season.
Well, that pitch was up, not generally where ground balls are produced. That slider did back up. Top of the fourth, 1-0 Pittsburgh. Bases loaded, one out. And this ball is well hit left center field. It's not going to drop, but it's going to get a run home as Dahl makes the catch. And scoring is Polanco. 2-0 Pittsburgh.
30th RBI for Harrison.
It does seem like when you walk the leadoff hitter, he scores 105% of the time. Is that possible?
It's not possible, but it seems like it. I mean, it's no higher than if he were to get a base hit, but at least with the guy swinging the bat, you feel like you have an opportunity to make a play defensively.
This ball's well hit to center field by Mercer, and this one is gone. Now the Rockies are down a big number. 5-0 Pittsburgh for Mercer, his 6th home run of the year.
He came into the series as a 350 hitter against the Rockies, 250 against everybody else, and he does not wait around. Both home runs tonight for Chad on the Subaru Supermo have been in the same spot. Both of them left up. Guys are attacking that first fastball that they see.
Both home runs for the Pirates to center field tonight. That one went 443. The one by Marte in the first went 453. Ball and a strike on Jameson Taillon. So now you have a situation where it seems like this has happened quite a bit the last couple of weeks. Both guys you walked ended up scoring.
Yeah, and then you're also facing a guy in Jameson that hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in any of his last 12 starts.
So the Rockies with plenty of work to do now on offense. Still early though, bottom of the 4th inning. It is 5-0 Pittsburgh.
To the bottom of the fourth, we go 5-0 Pirates. There is Clint Hurdle, the Rockies' former manager, who prior to being a manager was the Rockies' hitting coach, and he was Dante Bichette's hitting coach from 97 to 99, and he remembers Bichette as a guy with a $1 million smile who loved to hit.
And Dante, man, it was a whole, I mean, cerebral, study, knew the fundamental mechanics, passionate, wanted to go out there every day and play and hit and study. He was as passionate as a person that I've ever come across about wanting to not hit a baseball, about maul a baseball.
Having that conversation with Clint, we were laughing because in his first year as the hitting coach for the Rockies, he had Walker, Burks, Bichette, Galarraga, and Castilla, the Blake Street Bombers. So not a terrible gig to have as a hitting coach, guys.
Yeah, you know what? It's the old line about just roll out the baseballs. There you go, boys.
That's when you're a really good hitting coach.
Yeah.
Not to say Clint wasn't, but it does make it better when you have guys like that.
1-1. 2-1 on Cargo. Rockies down 5-0. No one can tell a baseball story like Clint Hurdle. And he's got just a few. It's on the outside corner. It's 2-2. Cargo, Arenado story. Rockies have 2 hits. Hold your breath moment. 3-2.
Yeah, because he's been shaping that outside corner. He's just putting it right out there. Just being 6'5" just looks like he's releasing it right out in front by the catcher.
And Cargo grounds it to Harrison. 1 out.
Well, movie night is presented by Securian Financial. It returns to Coors Field on Sunday, August 26th, with a post-game showing of The Sandlot. Buy the movie night ticket package to watch the movie from the field and receive a Rockies movie night blanket at Rockies.com/movie. Who wouldn't want to see The Sandlot at Coors Field up on the Jumbotron?
I can tell you it will be an awesome night. And here's why I can tell you that. That pitch called a strike. Nolan saying, come on, that's low. Here's how I know. We were in Milwaukee on Saturday night.
Yeah.
They played the Sandlot after the game, and a ton of folks stayed. And everybody kind of huddled around the home plate area. And that's a strike also on the swing. Corey Blazer indicating that he went around. And he did.
Yes.
So it's 2 strikes. See if Nolan can battle out of it. He's been a great 2-strike hitter all year. And that's just an at-bat you want to forget about if you're Nolan. Got off on the wrong foot. 2 check swings, and there's 2 outs. That'll bring up Story. He lined out to left his first time after Nolan had doubled.
Trying to talk about making a prequel to The Sandlot.
Are they?
Yeah. So the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, Taylor interviewed
right.
several cast members on Saturday night in Milwaukee, and they must have had, I don't know, 5,000 to 6,000 people stay after, and it was like going to a drive-in theater. It was a beautiful night in Milwaukee.
They don't know about drive-in theaters. Come on.
This is 2 hops to short. Rockies not getting much done against Jamison Tyone. They're down 5-0. Dante Bichette night at the ballpark. Fifth inning at Coors Field as we celebrate Dante Bichette. Counting down our top 25 all-time Rockies. This is the silver anniversary season. Pirates have hit 2 home runs. That man hit a home run in the first, Marte. And then a 3-run home run by Jordy Mercer last inning. Corey Dickerson, ground ball to second and a fly ball to center. Corey telling us before the ball game, still trying to get his timing right. He had that huge July, hit 400 in July, and then he hurt a hamstring, went on the 10-day disabled list. You remember, man, you miss a few days, it can throw everything a little bit out of whack.
Well, and especially too with the hamstring, because you can't hit. You know, if there's something else that's bothering you, maybe you could take in and look, stand in the box or go out to the bullpen, see some pitches to at least help a little bit. With that hamstring, they shut you down. They don't even let you take any dry swings. You can't do anything.
No, because you're driving with your legs. You will definitely feel it in the hamstring area. 335 road batting average, second best in the league for Dickerson. He's behind right now, 1-2. Foul tip. Tell you a quick story about Dickerson that you may not recall. Damon Ionelli, who's now a cross-checker for the Rockies, was the area scout in Mississippi, and he loved Corey Dickerson when he was a junior college player. This kid could hit. And the Rockies drafted him late, 29th round, after his freshman year of junior college baseball. He did not sign, he went back. The next year, this is going to be a tough play and no play. Now you got to go get the baseball, and Dickerson is going to end up at second. There's only one way you could score that. It's going to be a double on a bouncing ball that went like 140 feet.
Try to see if DJ tried to barehand this.
I think he did. Yeah, no, he didn't. I'm sorry. You're right. He
just the way he attacked it, it made it appear like it was a bare hand, but he just missed it on the Subaru Supermo, and it'll be a single and then an error on DJ, allowing Corey to get to second base.
They appealed to first. Dickerson evidently touched it. I don't think that's. For a moment, the Rockies were going to, let's see if Dickerson touched the bag. Yeah, he got it. Just fell over getting it. And the reason he did is initially he's making a straight line. He's trying to beat, you know, a little ground ball in the infield. And then when it got past DJ, now he's making the turn going to second. I do think that's a reasonable way to score it.
Yeah, and it'll be the 4th error of the year on DJ.
One and 0 on Marte. You know, finish that story on Dickerson. So Danny Montgomery, a long time cross-checker for the Rockies and a great one, assistant scouting director to Billy Schmidt. He goes down there to watch him in a junior college game, and they get rained out. So he says, jump in the car. And he takes him down towards New Orleans to a junior college down there where they had a nice indoor hitting facility. And they hit there. And the head coach of that program in New Orleans said, I'll gladly open up the hitting tunnel for him. I hope you draft him. I want this kid out of my league. Right? So anyhow, Demont is he's known in the Rockies organization. That is a base hit to center field. Dickerson around third will get a stop sign from Joey Cora. First and third, nobody out. But anyhow, Demont, like Damon Ionelli, loved what he saw. And the next year, the Rockies drafted him again, this time in the 9th round.
9th round, yes.
And it's really unusual. You'll see guys who are drafted multiple times, but you don't see it happen with the same team all that frequently. Let me correct that. He went in the 29th round, then he went in the 8th round. I shorted him around. But you get the point. So the Rockies in back-to-back years drafted him, and To this day, Damon Ionelli, I was talking to Corey about this earlier. Damon Ionelli texts Corey all the time. They remain very close.
Just because they're not, you know, in the same organization anymore doesn't mean they haven't developed that friendship, because that's what a lot of scouting is, especially in the higher levels. You need to know about a kid's background. What's his makeup like?
Well, in the case of the makeup of those two guys, it's off the charts. And that's such an important element. You'll see guys, Huey, when you were roving with the Cubs, you see guys with immense talent, and you're trying to see what's inside them.
It's the hardest thing to find sometimes. You know, they don't have that chart for the heart and the desire and the want.
Polanco, and that's going to find a hole, and now it's 6-0. And going first to third is Marte. And now it's getting a little ugly.
Nobody
It's
up
starting
just
to pile
yet.
up. 7 hits for the Pirates with nobody out in the 5th. And this pitch again, this is up.
Yeah.
And Chad, no pitcher really can live there, but Chad especially.
No, and Polanco, who was in 0 for 14, making 0 for 15 after the flyout in the first inning, comes through with a hit. And also a 63rd RBI. Now it's Jake McGee up in the Rockies bullpen.
David Freese at the plate. He singled and scored last inning. The other thing, we throw around the term heart, right? It's used frequently in athletics. What's this guy all about? And sometimes it's not how hard is he going to work. This is line toward Cargo, and he lays out, makes a great catch. Tagging and coming home is Marte. That is a beautiful catch. Freese with his 37th RBI. Cargo popped right up. He was hoping to have a play on Marte, but
How about the timing of this, Drew? When to lay out? Is there anybody better than Cargo? When he decides to go, he's parallel to the ground like Superman on the Subaru Supermo. Say that 3 times real fast, and that's what you get the catch from Cargo.
and to your point, Huey, he's exceptionally good at laying out, coming forward.
Yes, because if you don't time that correctly, that ball's going to skip past you, and you're going to have to get up, run to the wall. You know that as an outfielder. There comes a point of no return for you. Cargo's got the timing down.
Cargo has always taken great pride in his defense. And he was telling me earlier today, we had a long conversation. He said, you know, even if it's 10-0, he had no idea how tonight was going to unfold. 7-0 right now. He said, I want to save a run for my pitcher.
That's
and that plays so well in that clubhouse.
That's what I was going to say. That's what teammates admire the most. You know, when doesn't matter the score, you're still playing the same way, like it's 0-0.
And Huey, you know, having played a long time at this level, not every guy does that.
No, they don't. And you know it. You know the guys that don't do that. But when you have guys like Cargo or Nolan, Charlie, Trevor, I mean, you can name almost every guy in the Rockies that's going to do that.
One gear, regardless
Hard.
of score.
It's going hard. Doesn't matter the score.
1-2 on Moran. Polanco draws a throw, but you get back into the hard thing. So a guy may be able to get there. One of the things that scouts want to know is how will they handle success? How will they handle money? Okay, they make it. Now they're making some glue, as guys like to say, right?
Yeah.
How are they going to handle it? Will they be the same guy?
Are they going to work just as hard? Are they going to treat their teammates the same? I've seen a lot of teams get ripped apart when guys start to make money.
Swung on and missed. Good pitch by Chad. Gets the strikeout of Moran. 2 outs. That'll bring up Cervelli. And that's, you know, that takes you to the front office then and to ownership. And you want to know if you're going to invest big money in a guy, long-term deal. Is that the right guy? Yeah, you may see the raw numbers, say, okay, last 2 or 3 years, real good stuff. What will it mean if you give him a 5-year big money deal?
They stop working.
That's why the Rockies were so comfortable recently with Charlie Blackmon. He's not changing.
No. He hasn't changed up to this point. He's not going to change no matter the length of the contract, how much the contract's for, because he's not that type of guy.
Still driving his 04 Jeep Wrangler. You kidding me?
I really hope, though, that he never lets it run out of gas like he did a couple winters ago.
Well, here's the difference now. This is pulled fair down that left field line. Polanco is going to get a green light from Cora. Ready to play. Safe there, and moving to third is Cervelli. 8-0 on a double by Francisco Cervelli, his 42nd RBI.
A little soft liner over the head of Nolan. It goes off the wall. Everything was done right here as far as getting the ball back in. The throw from Trevor on was just Polanco. Outran the baseball. Aggressive play by Joey Cora, the third base coach. Even if that's a good throw, he's going to slide underneath the tag on the Subaru Supermo. And unfortunately tonight for Chad Bettis, he just didn't have it, and that'll be it for him.
So with 2 outs in the 5th inning, Jake McGee will come in for the Rockies. 8-0 Pittsburgh.
Season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions may apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. Well, Jake McGee coming into the game after Chad Bettis departs after 4 2/3. Jake pitched in Milwaukee a few days ago, and inning had a couple strikeouts, trying to get back on track. It's been really a roller coaster this year for Jake.
Last couple of outings, Jake's had the good fastball, and you hope that continues.
No, that's one thing. We've seen it this year. It'll be 92, 91, then it'll jump up to 96, 95. But I think they're wanting more consistency out of that fastball, where they see 94, 95 all the time.
Yep. One strike on Harrison. Sac fly his last time up. And that was good fastball at 96, 0-2. 97 on that one. So that's what I mean. And that will get the attention of Buddy Black, Steve Foster, Darren Holmes as a real good sign.
Oh, indeed.
You still got to locate even when you throw 95, 96, 97. But Jake McGee has always been right. Jake McGee's always been a fastball guy. Last couple of years mixed in that breaking ball a little bit more certainly than what he utilized in Tampa.
It's good to have that option for a breaking pitch, but if you lived your whole life as a pitcher using that fastball in and out, up and down, that's still what you feel as your strong suit.
That's a good pitch too. 97. Again, this is good, and I think Buddy's using this platform here in a game where the Rockies hopefully can find a way to battle back into it, but they're down by 8 runs. They need Jake McGee to be Jake McGee, just like they need Brian Shaw to be Brian Shaw in the final 7 weeks of the season.
Exactly, and this is a good opportunity for him to go out there and really work on some stuff.
Did he bite? No. 2-2. Stu Shearwater's behind home plate. Corey Blazers, who he checked with.
But to your point, Drew, it's not happening tonight, but maybe tomorrow in the last couple innings when you've got to face Dickerson or Polanco come left on left late in the game. That's where they want to get Jake back to.
Right center field, pretty well hit, and that one's gone. Wow. 2-run home run, Josh Harrison, his 7th of the year, and the Pirates are up 10-0.
Already 3 RBIs tonight for Josh Harrison. Josh Harrison goes down and gets that one. It's his 7th home run of the year out into the Rockies bullpen.
You want to yell in your glove, you want to bite your glove, you want to scream. Mercer, who hit a 3-run home run his last time up, takes strike 1. Jordy Mercer out of small town Tologa, Oklahoma, went on to stardom at Stillwater. 3-time all Big 12 player there. Story throws him out. 5 runs in the inning after a 4-run 4th. 10-0 Pittsburgh.
celebration of Dante Bichette. If there is one thing for certain, Dante, one of the originators who helped the city of Denver fall in love with baseball. You can see that here by David Marsh. I've been a Rockies fan all my life. This is one of my family's favorite memories with Bichette, meeting him at Rockies Picture Day when I was just over 1 year old. Check that out, cute little photo there. And now he's old enough to put it on Twitter. Drew?
All right, fly ball to center field. Taylor appreciated. David Dahl on one pitch is retired to lead off the 5th inning. That'll bring up Ryan McMahon. You know, it's been 9 innings in his career that he's faced the Rockies. This is just his 2nd appearance, and he's yet to give up a run. Talking about Jamison Tyone. He had 5 shutout last June at PNC Park against the Rockies, and so far a shutout for 4 1/3.
He was in a good spot coming into this game. The last 4 ball games, 3-1 with a 2.52 ERA, giving up less hits and innings pitched. So I know that the Pirates made the trade for Chris Archer, who the Rockies will see tomorrow. But they're really positioning themselves for next year and the year after for some of these guys.
Yeah, it's a good point, Huey, because many of the deals that are made, most of the deals, quite frankly, that are made leading up to the trade deadline are trying to win in the year that the deals are made. A lot of times it's a 2-month rental. In the case of the moves made by Neil Huntington, Archer's under control 2021. Kella, the closer for Texas, they have control of going forward. So if it benefits them in 2018, awesome. Clint Hurdle's gotten this bunch into contention. Here's a 3-1. But over the next couple of years, they were good baseball moves.
That's what I would say 23 to 25 of the clubs have to do. And they're not only looking at this year, they can't be reactionary. They got to be proactive in what happens as they move forward to next year, 3 years out, 5 years out. You know, some clubs, Boston, New York, LA, Angels, they can buy their way out of a mistake. But for everybody else, they can't do that.
It's difficult to do. Inetta base hit his first time up, snapped an 0 for 19. McMahon at first, 1 out. 2 strikes. Rockies have won 2 in a row after the rough week last week. Got that victory Sunday, 1-2-0 yesterday. And listen, 10 runs a bunch. We haven't seen that. The Rockies haven't been given anything up, especially at home. Starting pitching has just been outstanding. But it's been since July 20th since the Rockies have scored 7 runs in a game.
As I mentioned, only 3 times in July did they score double-digit runs.
2-2. Parr is on deck to hit for McGee.
Yency Almonte is getting loose in the bullpen.
A 1-4-3 double play. Through 5, it's 10-0 Pittsburgh. High Speed Challenge. Go to AT Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. All right, who had the best mullet?
Oh.
4 good choices. Walker, Bichette, Tulo, Blackman. I'm going Tulowitzki.
Okay, I got to think about this one for a second. I know it's a lot. Charlie's is rocking it. I don't know, Dante's is. He had the curls. Dante did too. But I'm still going with Larry. Larry, my final choice.
You got Walker?
I got Walker.
Did you ever have a mullet?
I think everybody did. I mean, kind of a little bit at one point or another during that time.
Never had a mullet.
Probably a little bit longer in the front than what a typical mullet would be, but yeah, I had a little bit of.
Did you have long hair when back at Glendale Community College?
Yeah, I did.
How about UW?
Yep.
You
yeah.
did.
Yeah. Yeah, and then after that, a little bit in the minor leagues through first few years in pro ball. And then after that, it was gone. No. You?
Have the long hair?
Yeah.
I mean, not long like Dougie's long. I had.
I didn't have it that long either.
I had 70s hair, right?
Yeah.
You had, over the years, your ears were covered.
Feathered look.
Yeah. Had to blow dry the hair, believe it or not, at one point. Actually, for a number of years. Yeah, I kind of shaved off like a dog, and I'm out the door.
But no mullet.
Never had a mullet. Never really had a beard. I've had the goatee a little bit in the winter months. How about you? Did you ever go beard?
Yeah.
You did go beard?
Yeah.
When you were playing?
Towards the end. Oh, Curtis. See, that's what I'm saying. It was kind of the thing to have. That hair coming back out of your hat.
There's a great relationship in the history of baseball between hair growth and this sport.
Yes.
A really strong relationship between the guys that wander out of the bullpen and beards.
Oh, yeah. But for a while, everybody, maybe it did a little bit like hockey, where in September you'd grow the beard just, good towards the playoff run.
Tyone hits it to left center field. Camped underneath is Dahl. McGee will now face Corey Dickerson. Let's go to center field and check in again with Taylor. Taylor, what do you have?
Yeah, well, one of my favorite things to talk about, in fact, is the mullet. And we mentioned Dante. We see Charlie having a mullet. But remember this Rockies commercial? Maybe Dante had something to do with Chuck Nasty getting a mullet, because here he is teaching him about it. Those hilarious commercials the Rockies have produced over the years. Dante just playing a part in the future of Chuck Nasty. I love it, guys.
Chuck looks like he's 12 in that picture.
And he's also wearing number 8.
JP's in that picture, Jordan Pacheco. Dougie, is Jordan, run into him occasionally, is he still in somebody's organization? I think he was last year. Remember that year he hit 309?
Yes.
For the Rockies?
Did he finish 8th?
Yeah, he was in the
7th,
top
8th?
10 in the National League in hitting that season. A Lobo. Born and raised a Lobo. Dougie's got to do more exhaustive research now. He's looking for the DuPont Ham Fighters and see if he's on their roster. Outside on Dickerson. Mama said there'd be nights like this. Rockies down 10-0. JP, I thought he's still going. He said that guy was clean shaven when the game started.
Twins. That's a beard.
He's in the Twins organization in AAA.
AAA for the Twins. I think they might be in Rochester, New York now.
Ra-cha-cha.
It used to be the Orioles forever. Silver Stadium in Rochester in the International League.
You played up there.
I did for 2 months. Felt like 2 years.
college, I got to play in that old Syracuse Chiefs stadium. Is that still up?
I played in that one. I don't know if it's still there, still the same one, but yeah, that was Toronto's.
That was an older stadium.
Oof.
And Dickerson strikes out against McGee. 2 outs. We'll bring up Starling, Marte. Home run, fly ball left field, and a single tonight for Marte. Baseball's a funny game. Yesterday, the Pirates shut out, held to 2 hits at Coors Field. Tonight, 9 hits, 10 runs. And we're in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and that
6th inning.
That shutout yesterday, that was the 11th time that had happened to them. It tied for the most in the National League with Washington.
Rockies shutout yesterday was their 7th of the season, 4th at home. That's a strike. Kyle Freeland leading the way.
7 innings, 5 strikeouts, 8 ground ball outs, pitched inside. Everything that you want to do as a pitcher, Kyle executed last night.
Ground ball to second. And 1, 2, 3. 6th inning for McGee. Back in a moment. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Celebrating Dante Bichette tonight, counting down the top 25 Rockies of all time. Certainly he is very worthy of being in the top 10. Gerardo Parra is going to pinch hit 9-1 and 2 here in the 6th inning for the Rockies. They've been held to 2 hits themselves tonight. Leadoff double in the 2nd by Arenado. The Rockies couldn't cash that in. Iannetta had a leadoff single in the 3rd. He was sacrificed by Bettis to 2nd, and the Rockies unable to get him home. Rockies' last 21 home games, 17-4. That came right after the 8-game home losing streak. Unthinkable the Rockies would lose 8 in a row at home. 1 out. And that'll bring up Blackman. Ground ball to 2nd and a strikeout for Charlie. Well, the streak comes to an end tonight. The Rockies have got 5 in a row for just the second time ever, allowing 2 earned runs or less at Coors Field. The other time that occurred was 2006.
They did that July 30th through August 11th of that year.
There's a base hit for Charlie. I'll say this right now, if nothing else comes out of tonight's game, if you can get number 19 going again, that'll be huge, because he, as we all know, is such a huge part of the Rockies offense. And you're going to go get that baseball hit number 1,000 in Charlie's career. That's a big, big number. Good for Charlie. Standing ovation here.
A neat moment. Got the foot down in time, rips this one. He'll always remember this career hit number 1,000. Immediately got the baseball. He's just one of 1,315 players in Major League history to have 1,000 hits or more.
Say that number again.
1,000. Now he'll make 1,315. There was 1,314 guys before him that had 1,000 hits, and that's it.
And we're over 19,000, right?
19,347 guys that have made it to the major leagues.
That's a special number, and I know one that he's very proud of. Right now, he doesn't want the attention. He's angry as heck that his club's down 10-0. DJ, ground out, fly out. And now he's in a ditch 0-2.
Both of those at the bottom of the Subaru strike zone.
Okay, Cargo's 6 hits away from 1,300 in his Rockies career. Center field, that's a base hit. And Charlie will stop at second. First time tonight, back-to-back hits.
Looking to come out to a ball game, there's always great Rockies ticket deals available. You can bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back throughout the rest of the season.
Cargo, a high fly ball to left field, and 2 hopper to second. Hitting third for the second straight ball game. And this will be a hit. It'll go to the wall. It'll bring home at least one. Charlie will score. DJ around third. They're going to send him. And the throw to the plate. Not going to get him. 2-run double. Carlos Gonzalez. 10-2.
RBIs number 50 and 51 for Cargo. He gets a little flat slider on the Subaru Supermo, and he's able to power that one into the right center field gap. Cargo, that's his 22nd double this year. And Stu's just waving DJ around, running hard the whole way. Rockies on the board.
Well, that's nice to see. 3 straight sharply hit baseballs. Still nobody out. And Nolan's at the plate. I said nobody out. I forgot about Parra leading off. Forgive me, 1 out. I wanted to erase that.
I don't mind that. It's just against the rules.
It's like a mulligan. They don't allow it on the PGA Tour, though.
They don't.
You and I allow
You
it.
and I, yeah. Go ahead, take another one. Drop another one.
Breakfast ball.
Uh-huh.
4 in the afternoon. Breakfast bar. And a sharply hit ground ball. Good pickup by Moran.
Strong throw, too.
2 outs.
Moran got this on the short hop. No, excuse me, more like an in-between hop. Just made the strong throw across the diamond.
So here's Story. Trevor lined out in the second to left and a ground ball to short in the fourth.
Duggar's going to come out just to make sure Trevor's okay.
You know what else it does? It slows them down because you have that clock. You've been up there and you feel like, you know what, I really want another 20-30 seconds to let the pain subside, but I feel like I need to get in there.
Well, that's a good thing he was wearing the ankle guard. That ball hit right off it on the Subaru Superman. But you're right, Joe. You feel like, oh, you know, I got all these fans are watching me. Everybody, I got to hop back in there sooner than I want to.
Outside. The Rockies finally scored against Tayo. Trying to score more. 2-1. Dodgers were idle last night. They're in Oakland. That'll be an interesting matchup. Nobody's been hotter than the A's. The only team to take care of the A's, the Colorado Rockies. They're 33-10 their last 43 games. 3 of those 10 losses to the Rockies when they were swept here in Denver.
They're only 4.5 back of Houston in that AL West.
This is going to be tracked down by Polanco. Thought for a moment it had a chance to drop. Rockies get 2. Singles by Blackman, his 1,000th hit, and LeMahieu and then Cargo a double to bring him home. 10-2.
Cassie remembers him. Dante was my first ever autograph. I was an honorary Batgirl on the field watching practice. He was very personable and funny to hang out with. Blake Street Bombers. Yeah, he could certainly hit the ball. In fact, when asking Buddy Black about him, that's something he remembers. It was the game September 23rd, 1989. Dante was playing for the California Angels, and Buddy Black was with the Cleveland Indians. I'll let Buddy tell the rest.
I gave up the longest home run I believe I ever gave up to Dante Bichette. And Dante Bichette might say, he might not say it, but it could have possibly been the longest home run he ever hit.
So Patrick Saunders had the chance to talk to Dante about this, and he in fact did say that it was what he remembers one of the longest home runs he ever hit. But what was hilarious about this, and you guys were sitting right there in the press conference, Buddy remembers the exact pitch. He was like, it was a changeup, and he remembers exactly where it went in the ballpark. So it certainly had an impression on both the men involved in that one, guys.
Buddy remembers everything, and you remember good and bad. You remember obviously when you performed well, but sometimes it's when you didn't necessarily perform well that those memories stand out. Look out, as Blackman and Cargo almost came together. Cargo changed his route at the last instant, gave way to his center fielder who has right of way, and Charlie makes the catch on Polanco. Brian Shaw, as you can see, is in the game.
Yeah, that hit just a moment ago got in just enough to Polanco with a little cut fastball. And since Brian's been back, 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits is all he's allowed, 2 earned runs, and an opponent's batting average against is just 200. So you hope that trend continues what he's done since coming off the DL.
Yep. Here's David Freese. Down low, ball 1. I mean, that's the kind of guy that's going to hit a ball really far. Dante, when he was a hitting coach here a few years ago under Wall, he would still take batting practice occasionally, and he would still, I told this story with Taylor at the top of the broadcast tonight, that he would swing one-handed when he was playing his last swing of batting practice, and oftentimes, as crazy as this sounds, with his top hand he would hit the ball out of the ballpark. Well, he would replicate that the year he was the batting coach.
The one story I think of is after his playing days were over at Rocky's fantasy camp. There was some young buck there thought that, you know, he could throw the ball pretty hard. He was throwing it hard, but you know, in fantasy camp we've got a wide range of ability and ages.
Yes.
But this young buck comes in, it's the last day where it's the campers against the staff, so all the former players, whatever. So he decides, well, he's going to pitch to Dante. First pitch he throws to Dante, he hit it to Tucson. We were playing at Salt River Field, and he hit the first one out. This young buck kind of said, okay, I realize I'm not quite as good as I thought I was.
Yeah, this is a little different league.
Sounds a little bit like the home run that Dante hit off of Bud.
3-2 fouled off by Freese.
And Bud was, to further that story that Bud was talking about too, that was at the old stadium. The mistake by the lake, the one that John Elway led the drive on and against the Browns, and you know, he ended up with the touchdown pass in the end zone, sliding pass, you know, all that.
That one.
Yeah, that one. So Bud says, yeah, he hit it into the dog pound at Cleveland Stadium.
Good cutter, swung on a miss, 2 outs. Well, Dante's youngest son, who would take batting practice quite a bit that year that he was a hitting coach, and he was 15, and he hit with a wood bat. He hit balls 20 rows up in left center field. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen from a kid. Bo went on to be a first-round pick in Toronto. He is now one of the top prospects in baseball. In fact, Toronto has 2 of them. 2 sons of Vladdy Guerrero's kid and Bo Bichette. Last year, Bo almost hit 400. This year, he's at 277 in Double-A New Hampshire in the Eastern League. 10 home runs, 63 driven in. He's just 20, so he's really young for that league.
Just 20 years of age, already in Double-A. But they had Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette together to start this year in Double-A. Now they just moved Vlad up to Triple-A.
I want to say, I got to remember this, Dougie. That's going to sneak through a base hit. So Moran reaches. I think they're one of their other top prospects. Their third top prospect is also a son of for Toronto. Bosey, according to Baseball America, I think Guerrero's number 2 in baseball, and he's number 8. Two-out single. Francisco Cervelli at the plate. Ton of cut on that pitch. 1-1. Shaw would make Tom House proud. Tom was the first guy to introduce throwing a football as a pitching coach.
That's what we used to warm up with when I was with the Rangers down in Texas. He was our pitching coach.
Well, Brian throws a football every day to warm up. That'll get him out of the inning. Good solid inning from Shaw. We go to the bottom of the 7th at Coors Field. The Rockies down 10-2.
Yeah! Rockies!
Bettis making his first start since June the 1st. Gave up a first-inning home run to Starling Marte, and then Jordy Mercer, a 3-run shot also to center field. And later was Jake McGee giving up a home run to Josh Harrison. It's been a long night for the Rockies. They're down 10-2. Their only runs came on a Carlos Gonzalez 2-run double last inning. Jameson Taillon has pitched very well, and for the first time in really a while, the Rockies get an uneven start. Their rotation's been so good. David Dahl's going to lead it off. David, a ground ball to short and a fly ball to center. A couple hits last night. Back-to-back starts for Dahl. Last night at center for Blackman. Tonight getting a start in left field. So we were talking about the top prospects in Toronto's organization, because one of the top 2, this is going to be a base hit. Good for Dave. Was Dante Bichette's son, Bo. We mentioned little Vladdy.
Yeah.
Not so little, by the way, Vladdy Guerrero. And I said, I think their next top prospect is a son of also. Kevin Biggio.
Oh, my.
Hall of Fame Craig Biggio's, Hall of Famer Craig Biggio's son.
So we got Hall of Famer Vlad Guerrero's son, Hall of Famer Craig Biggio's son. And then in the Rockies,
And then really good player,
yeah,
Dante Bichette's
Dante
son.
Bichette.
Funny how that works. McMahon, 0-1. And McMahon, that's going to drop in left. Ball to second. So back-to-back singles in the 7th inning with Chris Iannetta coming up. Now you can watch your favorite Isotope stars make their journey to the big leagues with the Rockies. AT&T Sportsnet, your home for Rockies baseball all season long. It's available on most cable and satellite packages. Visit AT&T Sportsnet.com for channel information. Had a single and he grounded into a 1-4-3 double play.
So you say the Isotopes lost yesterday, but Jordan Patterson hit his 20th home run of the season.
Slowly hit to third. There's one and there's two. Second double play that Iannetta's hit into. 5-4-3 on that turn. Dahl to third base. And Ian Desmond is going to be the pinch hitter.
Cincia Almonte, again, who's up in the pen, will come in last couple innings.
That's in there.
Finish a couple more guys for the Isotopes. Yesterday, Noel Cuevas 2 for 4 in the 7 games since he was optioned down. He's hitting .440 for the Topes.
Doing the right thing.
Yeah, Garrett Hampson, same thing, .389 in his 4 games since being optioned down.
And Garrett had 2 hits yesterday. Matt Holliday, if you're wondering, did not play yesterday. Matt has 10 at-bats, 4 hits, 2 doubles, driven in 5 runs since going to Albuquerque, and he hasn't struck out once. So I don't know how much rust it was on Matt. I know it's a small sample size. He needs a bunch of at-bats, but a very good start in Albuquerque for Holliday. Two-one to Desi, and that slider's hitting the air to right field. Caught out there by Polanco to end the inning. There were 2 singles. The Rockies will strand 1 at third. Pirates up 10-2.
On this celebration of celebrating Dante Bichette as our #8 greatest Rocky of all time. It's time now to flip over the page to next week and preview who we will be celebrating next Tuesday. That is #7 on our list, Andres Galarraga, the first Rockies first baseman from 93 to 97, and he put up some ridiculous numbers. 316 average, 172 homers, all to go along with 579 ribbies with the Rockies, and in that 96 season led the National League with 47 home runs and 150 RBIs. So it's always going to be fun to celebrate the big cat who put up some big time numbers with the Rockies, you guys.
Well, Yency Almonte's out there. Taylor, thanks very much. It'll be fun to talk about the big cat next week. He was the first big star for the Rockies. Hit 370 that 93 season. Yency Almonte made his big league debut on June 21st. He's been used sparingly. This will be his 7th appearance. And he'll face Josh Harrison.
His last game was against St. Louis 6 days ago. 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, also had a strikeout. He's in one of the toughest roles in any bullpen. You know, the kind of that long guy. You're not sure when you're going to work. How much do you work in between? Because you might have to pitch that night and throw 50, 60 pitches. But even though he only has now 7 appearances, he's learning a lot just by learning the day-to-day grind of preparing at the major league level. Going over scouting reports, stuff that you can't learn down at AAA, AA.
And every day, even though he's not used a lot, he is around some seasoned veterans.
Already through osmosis.
Yeah.
You see how the guys are doing it. You're watching bullpens.
Harrison, a sac fly in the 4th, and then that 2-run home run in the 5th against McGee. Almonte makes him look silly with that slider. Good pitch.
Good catch on a foul ball. Oh, yes.
Don't lean over.
Yeah, you know, he didn't know. He kind of bent down and then he took a bow.
One out. Jordy Mercer at the plate. Little known facts on Jordy Mercer. Do we have a theme music for that? Like,
I'm drawing a blank on theme music tonight.
okay. If we were writers for SNL, we'd have like.
Yeah, we'd have 7 people right now telling us, giving us theme music.
Two strikes. Well, anyhow, Jordy Mercer at Oklahoma State was a two-way player. When he graduated, when he left after 3 years at Oklahoma State, he signed after his junior year, he was their all-time saves leader also.
So get hit and then also save games.
There's so many. Our own Corey Sullivan. Corey was a starter at Wake Forest, also an outfielder. I think it was in the ACC championship game. Corey actually ended up blowing out and ultimately having Tommy John surgery.
That's why when he goes to fantasy camp, he can only throw like an inning, but he lets it fly during fantasy camp.
Corey, remember that great throw he made in 07 to Jeff Kennedy, cut down at the plate at Dodger Stadium. And Corey could throw. 1-2. Well, so many of these guys. Story in high school would close. Nolan pitched in high school.
The big arms.
DJ, yeah. It's not a shock, really, if you think about it.
Cargo, what was he going to be? Pitcher or position player?
Cargo told me a story I'd never heard today. Glad you brought that up. Cargo signed with Arizona as a position player. The Dodgers offered Cargo $800,000 to sign as a pitcher. And Cargo was tempted, but he wanted to hit. And so he ended up signing. Mike Rizzo was one of the guys who signed him. He was with the Diamondbacks then. Mike, now the longtime general manager of the Nationals. He signed instead with Arizona for $200,000.
Just to be able to hit.
Just to be able to hit. $600,000 less. Mercer gone. Taillon's going to get to hit here. And we had a change defensively. Patty Barrels is in the ball game. Give Nolan the last couple of innings off. Get him ready for the day game tomorrow. DJ's there. And a strong inning from Almonte. 10-2 Pittsburgh. Comparison of the two starters, it's been a real good night for Jameson Taillon. It was a rough night for Chad Bettis in his return to the rotation. He ends up giving up 9 earned runs in just 4 2/3. And Taillon has thrown only 81 pitches. That's why he's out there in the 8th inning.
Well, and for Taillon, he already owns 1 complete game this year. It was a game against Cincinnati where he threw 110 pitches. There have been 7 complete games. That's it in the National League, but nobody has thrown 2.
First pitch strike to Charlie. Last time up, that historic one for Blackman. He ripped a single to right for his 1,000th career hit.
As I mentioned too, there's just been 1,315 guys in Major League history that have recorded over 1,000 hits.
Good swing by Charlie.
He'll never forget where he was, what happened, who was off of. And the crowd reaction giving the standing O.
And now he's working on his next 1,000.
What I like too is the 1,000 hit was on a fastball. That was on a breaking pitch. Stayed back, had good balance, something I mentioned earlier in the broadcast.
Huey, Charlie came into the ballgame hitting 277, 21 jacks, 49 driven in. He's 2 for 4 tonight, so he's guessed somewhere around the 280 mark. Charlie Blackmon's a 300 hitter at minimum, which tells me these next 7 weeks you're going to see a lot of Charlie Blackmon on the base paths.
Water finds its mark.
Yeah. And DJ came in hitting 273. He's 1 for 3. And DJ's a 300 hitter.
So we get those two guys rolling again at the top of the lineup, and Cargo's doing his thing. Nolan, that you'll find a way to roll out a lot of games now where you're going to get 6 or 7 runs.
Big chopper to short. Mercer able to flip it in time to Josh Harrison to get 1. Who Wants Tacos? Fans, follow us at AT Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 in a game. Cargo a 2-run double. He blistered a ball to right center field his last time up to drive home Blackmon and LeMahieu. Inside. Cargo has a chance to hit 300 again. Around 290 right now. 1-1.
Shaking his head just a little bit when he chased one just a little too far out of the zone.
Dickerson in left field will make the catch. And that'll bring up Pat Valleca.
Well, we got a moment, Drew. I got some happy news for my nephew Tim Houston and his wife Erin. They just had a baby girl.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Addie Brooks Houston. They live in Glenwood Springs now. He's a dentist over there, but they had the baby in Frisco. So my brother and sister-in-law are up there. Then the Van Gundys up in Frisco, Colorado. Congratulations to all of you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Really neat. I know they watch every game, so make sure I got that in. And congratulations, everybody's healthy and happy.
And we know that there'll be a uniform being sent your way very shortly from the Houstons in Denver. 10-2 Pirates.
earlier on in the season. Knocked the rust off, hopefully, though, for the rest of the starts the rest of the year.
Yeah, we also just want to take a moment on this August 7th to honor Don Baylor. He passed away last year at this time at the age of 68. Of course, what a great baseball man, but an even better person. Don had such a thumbprint on this game. 1979, he was the AL MVP with the California Angels. He won a World Series in '87 with the Twins. Of course, the first manager here in Colorado in 1993. He led the Rockies to their first ever playoff appearance in '95, where he was named National League Manager of the Year. I know you two had a great relationship with Don, got to know him over the years. So again, we just wanted to take a moment to remember him tonight.
Absolutely, man's man. Anybody that came in contact with Don Baylor came away better for it, and you had the great distinction of playing for him.
What a wonderful man, first of all, Don Baylor, and you know, to be able to play for him, it was an honor. And you know, I know my wife truly enjoyed her time in Chicago with Becky Baylor, because I mean, those two together, they treated everybody like family.
Yeah, great relationship, Donnie and Becky. And I'll tell you a story, since it's Dante Bichette, and I've told this story before, but it's been a while. This gives you an idea of the kind of presence that Don had. I was talking to him in the dugout, and it was right as the Rockies were kind of filing through the dugout to get ready to go out, stretch a little bit, and take batting practice about 2.5 to 3 hours before the ball game, right? And Dante came by with a sleeveless shirt on. And Dante, big strong dude, right? He's showing off the guns. But it wasn't exactly normal batting practice attire. And Groove and I are engaged in conversation. Groove never turned his head, but he saw peripherally that Dante was wearing that sleeveless shirt. And he said one word. He said, Dante. Dante knew exactly what it was about. He did a 180, walked back down the stairs, up the stairs, back into the clubhouse, and he came back with a more appropriate batting practice shirt.
It's just like when your dad says something to you, and you know you're doing something wrong, but you're hoping he doesn't catch you.
Right. And Groove,
Groove caught him.
They didn't have to
air
him out. Didn't have to turn to him.
Didn't have to embarrass him.
No. Dante.
Right.
Kind of funny.
But that's the respect he commanded.
And his long battle with that rare form of cancer, it was really a silent battle, and one would never have known had other people not, made it public.
Well, that was Donnie.
Yeah.
That's just the way he was. He, it didn't want to make it all about him. I tell you what, just playing for him, I think back to some of those great memories, the conversations you'd have, the arm around the shoulder if it wasn't going well, because he had been there, he'd done it, he'd seen it all. But what he did for this franchise, the way he set it on such a solid foundation.
Yeah, you go back to Bob Gebhardt, who was the original general manager. We just saw Geb when we were in St. Louis. Geb now working for the Cardinals. And, the late Jerry McMorris. That was the perfect man to lead the Rockies on the field those first years. Of course, took them to the playoffs the third year as National League Manager of the Year in 1995. Don Baylor was a great, high school football player as well. And what a strong man in so many ways, because he overcame ridiculous prejudice growing up in Austin, Texas. And went on to great things in the game of baseball. And, a tough guy in so many ways, not only mentally, but how about, did Donnie get hit 251 times? I think that was the number.
Yeah, and well, without any padding either. It wasn't the elbow guard and all the armory that the guys wear at times. And he never retaliated other than I'm going to take that guy out at second base, and he is going to feel my presence. I'm glad Jenny and Corey mentioned that. A little tribute to him.
You know what today's the anniversary of also? It was 1999. Wade Boggs in with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They were still the Devil Rays then. Got his 3,000th hit. He became the first guy to produce his 3,000th hit with a home run.
Forgot about that.
And I shorted Donnie 16 plunks, 16 bruises, 267 times he was hit. One and two. Broken bat, roller, and Valleca throws out Marte. I know it's mop-up duty, and I know the game's lopsided, but Almonte's shown that plus slider that he has at times, demonstrated at the minor league level, trying to become consistent with it. You know, he's got a big arm.
All three of the strikeouts tonight have come via the slider for Yancey. You know, you say mop-up duty. To him, to Yancey, it's not. To Pat Valleca, those guys, it's not. You don't get many opportunities sometime to shine. Even the shift here late in the game on the Subaru Statcast.
Two and out.
You can take a behind the scenes tour of Coors Field. Fans group and individual tickets are available year round. Call 303 Rockies or go to Rockies.com/tours.
Huey, earlier today, Houston beat the Giants in San Francisco 2-1. The Giants 6.5 off the pace. Dodgers in the third lead Oakland 2-0. One 0 Philadelphia in the fourth down in Phoenix.
Zach Greinke started for Arizona.
Philly hopefully bounce back after blowing that 2-0 ninth inning lead yesterday and then losing in 14. In the clubhouse late last night. It's not to the point, I mean, it's still early. It's not to the point where players are gathering around the television set, but some guys, you know, the TVs were tuned to that ball game. Guys would stop for a moment and look, and they weren't happy that Philadelphia was blowing that lead in the ninth inning before heading out of the clubhouse.
Arizona 63-51 going into tonight's game.
And the Rockies, as Polanco fouls that back. The Rockies began the day 2 back of Arizona, game and a half back of the Dodgers, who were idle yesterday.
Also 2 back in the wild card. Picked up a half a game from yesterday.
You know what team very much in it? Team the Rockies just saw. St. Louis Cardinals. Look at that wild card. They're now just 4 back. Washington has played better.
Did you say Washington just signed Greg Holland?
Atlanta beat them tonight, though, 2-1. Scherzer was on the mound.
Yeah, Scherzer had the 1-0 lead going into the 5th.
Cardinals beat Miami tonight. They bounced back. They lost to Miami yesterday, 3-2. First time that Marcelo Osuna is back in South Florida. Another 3-2 and a strikeout. So Almonte comes on, pitches the last 2 innings, and he gets all 6 hitters. He struck 4 of them out. Standards brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Tough night in Lodo for the Rockies. Their last opportunity. They're down 10-2. And this is a rarity. There's been 6 complete games this year in baseball. Actually in the National League, I should say. And Jamison Tyone is looking to throw a complete game here in Denver. The slider misses down low to Trevor Story. Corey Dickerson has come out. Jordan Luplow is in the ball game for Clint Hurdle.
Remember, Corey fouled that ball off his foot. That has a little bit to do with it.
Rockies have struck out in this game only twice, and yet they have just 2 runs. Usually, if the strikeouts are way down, especially at Coors Field, ball in play, you like your chances.
Last night they only had 3 strikeouts.
Well, the last 20, when they have less than 9 strikeouts at Coors Field, they're 17-3. And a base hit for Story. That'll bring up David Dahl.
Casey Sadler just got up in the bullpen. Pirates. Also a lefty. Vasquez. I think that's just because he might have not worked for a while. He's their closer.
Hard throwing lefty.
The only one they have in their bullpen. Those left-handers.
Out of play over the Pirates dugout. Take a look at the starters tomorrow. Chris Archer will make his 2nd appearance since the trade from Tampa. And the Rockies will send German Marquez to the mound. had success against the Pirates in the past. That'll be tomorrow afternoon, by the way.
Yeah, Ron, in his 3 games, he's 3-0 against Pittsburgh with a 2.50 ERA. And you and I were talking about the pitching just in general yesterday with Clint, and he was the first guy he mentioned.
And he said, we'll repeat this tomorrow, by the way. There's a little warning, but he said that Marquez, he said, we've seen some top shelf guys. He goes, Marquez doesn't have to take a back seat to any of them stuff wise. It's all gone, 1 out.
They get the first look too at Chris Archer. I walked out of the ballpark last night. I happened to be coming right by the Pittsburgh locker room as Chris was walking out. So I ended up walking out to the bus with him. What a wonderful, wonderful guy.
By all reports, he's
oh my goodness.
outstanding.
I mean, this is the type of guy that's, you know, Major League Baseball. We need to promote, you know, the Chris Archers of the world. We need to be out there, because I thought just in the 5 minutes we were together.
Impressive, huh?
Oh, yes, he was.
Is in the air on that left field line. This is a tough spot. This is going to drop, and then they're going to play kickball with it for a moment. No harm done. It's a bloop single for McMahon. Story to second. 2 on, 1 out. And Iannetta coming up.
A couple of hits in the same spot for Ryan. I was watching Colin when he's running back like this. I knew he was in trouble because he gave a peek. Say, where are you, left fielder? Where are you, Jordan? Looking for some help right now. I don't think anybody was going to be able to catch that, even if the left fielder, even if you're looking at him.
.103 pitch, a strike on Iannetta. Chris is single, and he's hit into a couple of double plays. Ball and a strike. And this is popped up. Infield fly rule. 2 outs. And Tony Walters will get an at-bat here in the bottom of the 9th inning. A little head start on tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be starting behind the plate. If you missed it earlier, the Rockies, who've been carrying 3 catchers for a while, now have 2 because Tommy Murphy was optioned to Albuquerque to make room for Chad Bettis. This is in the air to left field. Luplow's got it, and the Pirates have secured themselves a 10-2 victory and a complete game for Jamison Tyone. He improves to 9-8. Chad Bettis takes the loss. He is 5-2. It's the first complete game at Coors Field since John Gray in September of 16 beat the Padres. That was that night he struck out 16. It's the first 9-inning complete game by a visitor at Coors Field since Clayton Kershaw in July of 2013. Again, just the 7th complete game this year by a National League pitcher. That is a thing of the past. 10-2 the final. After this timeout, join Jenny and the gang for the Toyota postgame show. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.